Hello and welcome to another Global Share Fair vlog hop. Today our team are showing you lots of techniques covering a wide range of topics. So let's get down onto the desk and I'll show you what I'm sharing with you today. The shaving foam technique has been one of my favourites, creating a fabulous background for your embellishments and design of your cards. We start off with a very basic shaving foam. It needs to be the white foaming sort, not the blue gel. So we'll take the lid off. I've got a tray here. This is actually the lid of a box. Because I'm in my studio, I can easily wash this out down the sink. If you're doing it at a venue or in a class, teaching others, you might want to use paper plates and then have a carrier bag and a box at the end to put all the debris in. So I'm just going to shake this up well. And then and then squirt the foam into my tray. I have a spatula here. I like to just spread that out nice and evenly. We're trying to get it nice and flat, so the back of a spoon would work just as well. Now I do recommend having a piece of paper towel beside you to rest your tools on. So here is my tray of shaving foam, and I've chosen my 3 re-inkers. These are some colours that I've been using quite a lot recently. I have Cherry Cobbler, Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent, and as a Stampin' Up demonstrator we love the way that they coordinate with the cardstock colours. So I'm just going to put those to one side and put a few drops in here, just randomly. And then take your second colour and do the same. The more ink you have, the deeper your pattern will be. And lastly, my third colour. Previously, I've taught to have something like a bamboo cane. This has got a sharp point and you can swirl this like a marble effect. Or you could use a coffee stirrer or an old pen or pencil that you can just swirl. Now we're going to be swirling just the top surface where the inks are. They haven't travelled all the way through. Now I have a new idea for you today. I have a piece that I've prepared already, but I want to show you how I've achieved. Just lay that to one side for one moment. This is an idea that I've seen quite recently, and I've done one ready so that the adhesive is dry, but I have some cocktail sticks and I'm just going to cut those in half. Be careful because they will fly everywhere. And then I'm going to apply some Tombow to the end of the blunt piece, the piece you've just cut. And this is a piece of corrugated card. So you can see in here you've got the little zigzaggy pieces in here. You want to have these spaced evenly, so I'm going to pop this in the next hole available, and you want these to all be parallel, level on the end here. Now I'd like to just nip that and hold it while I'm putting adhesive on the next piece. And then that one will go into the next hole. And slide down so that they're nice and even on the end, like so. Okay, just by gripping those, this one will dry and will be ready for my next shaving foam technique. So I'm going to pop that over to one side. And here is a smaller piece that I prepared earlier. So this is just the corrugated card with lots of ends of cocktail sticks or toothpicks in the end. So I'm going to use this to swirl and marble. So as you will see, this is doing more in one go. If you find you're collecting a lot of the foam, you can just wipe that onto a piece of kitchen roll and then go again. So if you have anything that is not swirled, like there, I'm just stroking them lightly and through the middle. These are blending quite heavily. Okay, and wipe them again. I try to only have 3 colours. The cocktail sticks can be wiped and then allowed to dry, and they will be good to go again. So now the fun starts. I have a piece of our Whisper white cardstock and I'm going to tap that into the centre. I'm just laying that into the shaving foam, and the inks, as they make contact with the card, will transfer onto my piece of white cardstock. It's important to try and get the shaving foam on the whole of the piece. Just bring that up to camera so that you can see. Now I'm going to bring a piece of kitchen roll over and lift this out. I describe this as being a clean but messy technique. So I'm going to lay this on my piece of kitchen roll. You can see there's a little bit there that hasn't caught. That's not a problem. I'm going to take just a piece of backing board and I'm going to hold that firmly on the end and then scrape. So I'm going to hold my thumb here and just scrape that all off, like so. And I'll put that on my messy piece over there. And then I can take another piece of tissue and just gently wipe off any excess shaving foam. Very little has come off. So now if I bring that up to the camera, you can see how that has swirled where the swirly designs are. There is some white space. Depending on what you want to do with your finished piece, then you can go back into your shaving foam here and dot the corners in. So I could go in there and put some more on, and then some more on that edge, picking up some of the ink that's still in there, and another piece there. Take that out of the way, and again, this is the piece of board that I used. I would not use the same edge again. I will go for this edge, so I need to wipe that off on my kitchen roll. There's my ink, and I'm going to use this edge here. If you use this edge, you will find that the ink that's been transferred into there will cause more smear on your card. So I'm going to wipe that one that way, and then wipe this one this way. Leave that over there, and get my piece back to just wipe those corners. And there is my finished piece. And there is my finished piece. I love this design. I have used more ink on. If you use less ink dots, it will be lighter, it won't be so heavy. There's no need to allow it to dry. It's quite touch dry at the moment. I will put that to one side, and whilst I have this here, I will put some more colours into where the white gaps are. Use my little comb that I've made from my cocktail sticks and just swirl those. And I have another piece of card of backing board here ready, and I'll take another piece of cardstock and go in once again, exactly the same. Lift the corner and be ready with your piece of kitchen roll, kitchen paper under here, and scrape the edge, place a clean finger on the end and wipe. Now I quite like that one. Remember, if you wanted to put some more on here and dip in again, you would use the opposite side, because this now has ink down the core. So you'd use this clean side. I'm happy with that, and I'm going to leave it as it is. And I'm going to take a third piece of card and go in again. I will double dip this one.
Anything is possible. It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together. You know it's all because everybody plays a part in doing what we love. You can bet it doesn't.
And here we have all three pieces. So this was my first dip, my second dip, and my third dip. You can see how the colours all change. You will never ever have two pieces the same. These three pieces will all be cut down to size to be placed onto a matte layer onto a note card. I have 3 note cards here, and my layers will be, I'm going to do 3 different colours, and my layers are 1 in each of the 3 colours that I use in the inks, and my layers will be 12 centimetres by 8 centimetres or 4 3/4 by 3 1/4 inches, and these will be adhered down onto the card.
Just look around and you can see it's so much more than stamps and ink. It's more than just a card you see. It's part of you, a part of me. It's creativity.
So there's my 3 card bases. My 3 pieces of shaving foam background will all be cut down to 11.5 centimetres by 7.5 centimetres or 4.5 inches by 3 inches. They will be half a centimetre or 1/4 of an inch smaller than the matte layer I've already put on my card. So here I'm back with the 3 pieces of shaving foam that have been cut down to 11.5 by 7.5 centimetres or 4.5 by 3 inches. And also I have some scraps here, some small, the outside edges that I've trimmed off. I will be keeping those for the decorating the envelopes. So these will all be adhered down onto my cards, and I will decide which combination I like best in my colours. So I'll start by placing them down and shuffling them around to see which background works best with each colour and which way up I'd like to have those. Because the soft succulent is much lighter, I'm putting the strongest card colours on there.
Anything is possible. It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together. You know it's all because everybody plays a part in doing what we love. You can bet it doesn't matter where you go. You find a friend who does just what they love and lets it go.
When you pick out the colours that you've used in the inks for the cardstock as well, they just all coordinate so nicely. Just going to put those 3 to one side for now. For the sentiment, I'm going to be using my Stamparatus. This is a template that I use with one of the stitched rectangles in, and I'm going to clip that one down onto the mat. And from scraps of card, I've pre-cut some of the same shape, and I'm going to slot those in there. Just catch that loosely on the corner. I will be using Tidings and Trimmings Christmas set, and inside here I've chosen to use this greeting here. So I'm going to apply that onto my sentiment into the centre, making sure to get it straight. And then I'm going to close my Stamparatus and lift off. Now, because the corners are free here, I'm going to move that magnet to hold it more in place. It's just slid slightly. So those magnets now should hold those bottom corners where there is no sentiment. With the Stamparatus, you've heard me say before, I place the stamp case underneath so that my surface is flat and not going downhill. I'll take my cherry cobbler ink and I'm going to ink up the sentiment and then close the door. And carefully lift that off. If you haven't got a full image, you can go back and ink it again. And I'm going to do all 3 with the same sentiment.
What we say is Stampin' Up, and it's our way to love, live, and share it today. Gonna love and live and share it today.
I'll close this and clean that later and bring my 3 cards back. One of these will be applied to each card in the centre using some Stampin' Dimensionals. We'll turn each one of these sentiments over and place 3, one each end and one in the centre.
Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together, you know it's all because everybody plays a part in doing what we love. You can bet it doesn't matter where you go. You find a friend who does just what they love and lets it show. One card
To embellish my cards, I have one of each of the solid stars from the Tidings and Trimmings dies here, and the filigree one on the inside. Now I've turned these over and I'm going to attach them together. And to do this, I've placed them on my silicone mat here. You can't see this very well on the silicone mat, so I'll bring this up to the camera. This image has been stamped and then die cut. And the other two are plain. Now I like to put some Tombow in the corner of my silicone mat, and then with a sponge I'm just going to gently tap that and work that into that piece of sponge and tap this star, the filigree one, on the reverse. And with my tweezers I will attach that on top. That will come like so. So you have the pattern underneath, and that will go on the card with that colour, the Evening Evergreen base. And I'll repeat for the other two.
it's what you're dreaming of. It's what you're dreaming of. What we love, what we do makes a difference in me and you. All these years of inspiration and love. Oh, how we
So taking care to line this up, covering some of the white on the card, but at a jaunty angle. This piece will be flat, and these 3 pieces will need to have some dimensionals. So for this one, I'm going to put dimensionals, the mini dimensionals, on 3 of the star points. And some Tombow on the remaining 2. The reason for this is that these 2 will be on the piece, that the sentiment that is already raised, and these ones will be giving the same height throughout. And the same with the others.
It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together, you know it's all because everybody plays a part in doing what we love.
In my little box here, I have pre-cut some of the other dies from this bundle. These are the berries that go with the holly, which I'll be using today, and you can cut 6 berries all in one piece. They are very tiny, so I'm using my take your pick tool. And removing the lid, I have the putty end here, and I will be picking up the embellishments that I want to use. So in this case I'm using the holly, and I will apply some Tombow to the back. Making sure to pick up the take your pick is picking up on the right side so that you can apply the Tombow on the wrong side. I'm going to do that on all 3 cards.
You can do most anything, so just do what you love. Live it, share it, you know it's what you're dreaming of. It's what you're dreaming
Now in my smaller pot here, I have some of those berries I mentioned. So these are very, very tiny. And again, they have a definite right and a wrong side. So I try to pick them up with my take your pick tool and pick them up on the right side. Like that one's fallen out there. And on each of those holly leaves, I'm going to place 3 little dots of Tombow, one on each leaf and one in the centre. And then with my red, my cherry cobbler berry, I'm going to place that down and hold in place. Because we're using Tombow multi-purpose adhesive, we can actually slide those round, and there are my 3 little berries in a little cluster. Okay, I'll do exactly the same for the other 2. And lastly, to finish off, I'm going to once again use my take my pick tool and my gilded gems, and use this just to slide one of those gems off my mat and place it in the centre of the star. And here are my finished cards with the gilded faceted gem in the centre of the star. I hope you've enjoyed my project today and enjoy hopping around the rest of the team to see all the fantastic techniques that they've got to share with you today. The next person in today's hop will be listed at the top of my description below. If this is your first time visiting our channels, then please hit the like and subscribe button below so that you'll be notified of future videos as we release them. Thanks again, and we hope to see you back here again very soon. Remember, this Global Share Fair vlog hop is on the last day of every month at the same time. Bye for now.